Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to talk a little bit about circles. So let's say we've got this particular circle. What we call the distance around the edge of the circle, what you'd call the perimeter on anything but a circle, that's what we call the circumference. And this line that goes from one end of the circle to the other, that's called the diameter. And this one that goes from the center to the outer edge, that's the radius. Now you'll notice that, well, since the radius goes from the center to the outer edge, and the diameter goes from one side to the other, the radius is just twice the diameter is just twice the radius. You could also think of it as the radius is one half the diameter. Now, there are some special formulae that always go with these. Now, before we talk about a couple of them, we need to talk about a special number. It's called pi. It, uh, it looks like that right there. And it always comes out to approximately 3.14 or 3.15. Fun fact, some Google engineer on March 14th one year figured out all the digits of pi up to the I think it was 3.14 trillionth digit. So, if you wanted to write it in perfect decimal form, you can. It can't be simplified to a perfect decimal form. But we usually say, oh, it's about 3.14 or 3.15. But what it officially is it's a ratio. It's a ratio of the circumference to the diameter of every circle in the world. If you take the circumference of the Earth's equator and you compare it to the diameter of that would-be circle, it would come out to about 3.14. If you do the same for any perfect circle, it's always going to come out to about 3.14. And I believe they discovered that in ancient Babylon, but I'm not positive. Now, the way we can calculate circumference, the distance all the way around the circle, is we say circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Make sure you're getting these formulae in your math notebook too. And radius is the one that we usually multiply to get the other measures, but if you wanted to find the radius and you knew the circumference, you could do that. You could say the radius is one half the circumference. So if this, I'm sorry, the radius is one half the diameter. So if you knew the diameter, you could figure out the radius based on that. And the diameter is just double the radius. Now finally for area, the whole space inside this circle, that is pi times radius squared. And I don't mean pi squared, I mean radius squared times pi. So the area is pi times radius times radius.